would like to welcome you to another episode of Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar. My name's Chris. I'm with Scott and John.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up?
Today we are going to talk about all of the rumblings happening with Disney and Warner Brothers.
And there are many.
There are many things happening. First of all, we'll kick this off to say that Star Wars Episode 7 has received an official release date. It's going to come out December 18th, 2015. 2015, the year of the blockbuster.
Yeah, the big one.
Right around Christmas time, too, so all kinds of merchandising opportunities for stocking stuffers.
Of course. Oh, and also, yeah, just remember to pick up your Disney shares on the New York Stock Exchange,
right?
Because you're going to have Avengers 2 coming out in May and then followed up at the end of the year with Star Wars. So,
Yeah,
the year of the mouse.
Hello.
They're making it.
Isn't the Muppet movie coming out, too, in 2015? Or is
Yes.
That's
that
it.
bank?
Yep, got a Muppet movie coming out, have a Star Wars movie coming out, and of course we'll have 2 homemade Disney films that are coming out. And I mean, I'm sure they'll have other Marvel releases, because if you remember, Marvel has their properties signed out to Fox and also signed out to Sony Pictures. So
does Fox and Sony write a check to Disney now, pretty much?
yeah, well, I mean, they pay for the rights. You know, they pay for the rights, and those rights are contained within certain things. From what my understanding is that the Spider-Man property, for instance, the film rights are signed off to Sony, but they don't have any television rights. So if you wanted to see Spider-Man show up on something totally righteous like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you could actually write Spider-Man into an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, but they'll never do that. They're worried about, convoluted crap on that show. So
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be awesome if Kermit the Frog showed up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I'd start watching it again.
Exactly.
It'll happen. They
I
need
think
to boost
that-
rating somehow.
Look, here's the team. You have Coulson, you have Sky, you have the unmemorable other agent guy who's the kung fu master. You have Ming Na, as the cavalry. You have the 2 unintelligible Scottish forensic scientists, and New Zealand and his boomerang fish.
There you go.
as a setup agent within the team, man.
Good grief, the comedian's a Hulk.
So moving on, Disney, Marvel has announced several things that they're going to be doing. One of their big news items that they threw out there is that they're actually moving several of their properties over to Netflix. And
The new moneymaker.
yeah, the new moneymaker. They say that Netflix now has actually outpaced HBO in subscribers.
I had heard a couple rumors going around. One is that HBO is thinking about doing a subscription a subscription service for non-subscribing HBO. So if you don't have HBO in your cable system, you could actually get this new HBO subscription on your phone or whatever like that and watch it like a Netflix or whatever like that.
Right. Well, I mean, it would make sense. I mean, that's where things are going. So,
Well, because at least I'm speaking strictly for the Gulf South Cox Cable. They bundle HBO with a lot of other stuff. They don't really offer a la carte options.
That'll never happen.
Yeah, right.
And Netflix is you're just writing a check to paying Netflix with your internet connection.
correct.
Well, Blockbuster just they're closing. It's over. The end of this year, the beginning of January, there will be no more Blockbuster.
Oh, really?
So all the stores except for a few licensee stores and franchise stores will be closed, including their Blockbuster by mail service. The only thing that Dish Network, because they bought out Blockbuster, the only thing that they're holding on to is Blockbuster at Home, which is also a Netflix type service. But there'll be no more discs sent in the mail.
Okay, they're just going to stream everything.
Stream everything, and that's through Dish Network.
Oh, wow.
So
I did not know that.
yeah, it's over with. So Netflix is about to pick up my business, and I'm sure a bunch of other people's business.
As well, they should. Their original programming's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
House of Cards and Orange is the New Black, both of which I watched all of.
And
are
now
great.
that you mentioned those original shows, the shows that they're talking about that's going to be for Netflix, my personal favorite, Daredevil, is going to be
Right.
one series. They're going to do something with Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Sweet.
And what's really cool is they're going to do Avengers style, to where there's 4 characters. I forget there's a 4th character. It's a female character. I forget which character it is.
Jessica or
I forget. I was irresponsible and didn't check my news feed before.
Well, she wasn't. I mean, I don't remember ever seeing a comic with that character. I remember Dazzler. She's my favorite.
I read it either, but.
Well, what they're going to do with these 4 characters, they're going to launch their own unique series that are going to be onto their own, and then they're going to do like the Avengers, and they're going to do a Defenders series on Netflix.
Correct.
That's going to bring all 4 of those characters together, like the Avengers. So, smart business.
Yeah.
Also, there is another unnamed Marvel-based show that's going to launch on ABC. During Agents of S.H.I.E.L.'s off-season, they're going to launch another character-driven Marvel series that's going to go on the off time, where Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is running in the fall. Their spring season is going to run another character, but they haven't revealed who that character is.
Oh, is it the Captain America girl? I know that there was some...
Yeah, there was some talk to where they were going to do... she did the Agent one-shot when the Iron Man 3 Blu-ray.
Yep.
And they're talking about Sharon Carter. They're actually going to... they're going to launch her as its own series, maybe. That was talks, but I don't know.
I don't know.
No
Agents
idea.
of S.H.I.E.L.D., 1945, I don't see it.
Right,
especially after the lukewarm reception it's got.
Right. And I mean, that's the thing. The question is that does it have legs? So in that vein, we'll move over to Warner Brothers, and I was reading some an article on Screen Rant the other day. They were talking about Arrow being probably the most critically acclaimed comic book television series.
Yeah.
Now, personally, I haven't seen the show, but
seen it
everyone I've talked to, it's on my Netflix list, it's on my stream list. Everyone I've talked to, they say the show is fantastic. And there's a lot of talk right now to where when the eventual Justice League movie comes, they're going to port Arrow into the movie series, which, if you think about it, that will give them a little bit of a leg up on Marvel, because, I mean, look, there's going to be people who are going to defend Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to the death.
Yeah.
I think the show is crap. I think it's a terrible show. I don't think it's good. And I think having a critically acclaimed show like Arrow being ported into your movie universe, I mean, huge leg up, because I know I can watch Arrow and I can see superheroes.
Right.
Well, keep talking about Warner Brothers, because I'm interested to see where this chat's going to go, because we haven't had a chance to really pre-discuss it.
The big news kind of flying from Warner Brothers right now is, and all of this stuff's rumored. It started with Jamie Alexander, who actually plays Sif in. She's part of the Warriors 3 in the Thor series, the female character Sif.
Right.
Okay.
There was some talk that she was talking to Warner Brothers executives about auditioning for a undisclosed role.
A strong female lead.
Well, what does that tell you? So that's
they also asked her about, hey, how would you feel, like, in unrelated interview, how would you feel if you played Wonder Woman? And she was like, I'd love to play Wonder Woman. It'd be great. As a matter of fact,
right. And she also claimed to know some details about what the new Batman and Superman movie is going to deal with. Mm-hmm. So you have that going on. Then just a few days later, they say what they're going to do is that just a few days later they say that that there's going to be an audition for the Nightwing character.
Right.
And if you don't know who Nightwing is the elder Dick Grayson, who was the original Robin. I think it's a spectacular idea, and what I love about it is that they cast Ben Affleck in the role because they wanted a Batman character that was already in operation. Wise move. The origin for that character has been done to death in film, in television. It's been overdone. We don't need another Batman origin. The character is so iconic, we know what his story is. So they're going to move in this elder Batman character that's going to kind of have been operating for probably like the last 15 years at the time of the events of the original Man of Steel movie. By inserting Nightwing into the movie, what's cool is that you have a character that's standing there saying, well, I worked with Batman in the past. I was his partner at one time, but now that I've become my own man, now I'm working independently on my own. So what you're doing is you're giving a huge nod to the mythos. You're essentially eliminating the Robin character, which is kind of a dicey. It's kind of a dicey thing. Some hardcore fans want to see Robin. Some of the other fans just want to see Batman operating on his own. And Christopher Nolan even said that there will be no Robin sidekick in any movie that I make. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the Nightwing character that's more of a mature character, which I think is just awesome.
And the news that I read is it's Adam Driver from that Girls show.
Yeah, from the HBO series Girls. Yeah.
And if he's like one of the top guys auditioning for this, he doesn't look that old.
Right.
Like he's a young guy.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. They need to play with age, because if you look at the Batman, if you look at the Batman mythos, so to speak, I mean, when I see Batman first taking on the Robin character, he's probably like right shy of 30.
Right.
And Robin's only like 14 or maybe 15 years old. So there's a significant age gap between those two characters.
I think this guy's like 30.
Right. So if you get Ben Affleck that comes in who's, over 40, and then you have a guy that comes in who's in his mid to late 20s, it lines up really well.
Yeah.
So I think it's just an all-around cool deal.
Well, first off, let's just be honest. Robin is basically the short round of superheroes. Like, I'm assuming that there was, at the time that character was created, those were much more simplistic, geared towards kids' storylines.
Correct.
And we all, I guess, wanted to be Batman's sidekick. So Robin was a costume we could get into, but Robin didn't mature well, which is why he had to be his own man and be Nightwing. So the inclusion of it, I don't know. It just sounds to me like Superman versus Batman, or the other way around, is getting a little congested. They're trying to make it like an Avengers.
I sort of agree with that. Like I'd like to see Wonder Woman in this movie, but I kind of don't know that I want to. I'd rather maybe keep it in the Batman Superman realm, bring in Lex Luthor if they do that, and that's kind of it. I don't want to. As soon as you start congesting it like that, it turns into a weaker. Then everyone's going to complain, "Oh, that Wonder Woman character was so weak," or the Nightwing was so weak.
Right. Avengers had, like you, and I believe you said this, Chris, that the Avengers each had their own movies before they came together in one like Uber movie. So I don't know. I feel like they're going to skimp on Wonder Woman, and
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Cool.
The fans, it's a double-edged sword. The fans want to see a Justice League movie. In the same breath, the fans bitch that Warner Brothers only have two characters that they flagship, being Batman and Superman. Warner Brothers has got to produce something quickly because the competition is kicking their ass.
Yep.
So they need to come up with something quick and fast. So what they are going to do is they're going to use these two flagship characters to launch the rest of their series. And I think it's wise. I think that the movie should definitely be Batman versus Superman, maybe with a dash of Nightwing in there. There's no need to include Wonder Woman, but to include Wonder Woman's alter ego, Diana, just to acknowledge that she's in that universe. I mean, Man of Steel had like 8 references to other DC characters in the movie. So, I mean, there it is. I mean, I think it's a wise business decision.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to develop these things, I mean, hey, look, take these alter egos. It's the same thing they did in X-Men 2. When Stryker goes over the list of all of the mutants that he's trying to hunt down, if you go and cycle through that list, there's like 7 or 8 alter ego characters who are known X-Men characters that they included in there just to show you or give you the wink, yes, these characters exist in this universe.
It's pretty amazing to see the evolution of Easter eggs in the movies. I don't know if there's another meme going around about Lord of the Rings and how much of the Hobbit you can actually see in Lord of the Rings, like the skeletons of some of the characters that are. It is amazing. Like I think its script supervision has taken on a whole other level of detail.
Because there's
cool.
more. Like there's the internet now, so the fan, as a fan, you have a place to go to really dig in. Like, oh, this is awesome, and this is awesome, and this is awesome, and you get so much detail. For them to put it in a movie is just a nod to the fans, more of the fans, the super fans, than it is for the average Joe that goes to the movie. So if they can nod to those guys and put out a good movie, it's that much more better to the super fans.
Exactly.
True.
You know.
True. Yeah, and I think Warner Brothers. I think they kind of get a unfair rap. I mean, when it comes to their television stuff, I mean, man, they have produced some great television series. I mean, I used to watch Smallville. I mean, religiously. Now, I mean, it's like any other show. When you start getting into later seasons, it starts losing its way. They have to start. It has to start developing into different things so they can try to keep the show fresh and interesting. And, it jumps the shark eventually. And then while the ratings are still high, I think a lot of these producers now, they're smart enough to where they can sit there and say, okay, look, let's end on a high note. We've had 8 seasons. There's no reason to beat this thing to death, a la the X-Files. So they go in and they put a close to it. But Warner Brothers, I read the article where they were talking about doing the launch of maybe possibly integrating Arrow's character into the Justice League movie. Man, they got some serious TV coming. They have they're doing a series on the CW, which is based on the character Our Man, which is pretty neat. I
don't know anything about that.
Our Man is a character that can see an hour into the future, and he can affect outcomes of things based on seeing the future. Now, I think that they should name it 40-Minute Man because of commercials.
Sure.
But if
is this going to be sort of like a 24 thing where the episode will be an hour?
I have no idea. All they've done is launch it. Now, Warner Brothers owning the CW, like Disney, they have a built-in network that they own. But now they're shopping DC properties to other channels. One in particular, which if they don't screw it up, it's going to be awesome. David Goyer, who is responsible for writing the Nolan Dark Knight trilogy and Man of Steel and Blade. He is developing a series for NBC based on the character Constantine.
Oh man, that's cool.
It's going to be based on the comic. I know everybody gives the shits to Keanu Reeves, but I liked Constantine. I thought it was a cool movie.
I did too.
But
I like that movie.
They're going to bring it back to the DC Vertigo style.
Yeah. It's like their Doctor Strange, pretty much.
Well, that you bring up Doctor Strange, which is pretty cool, is that in the new DC Comic 52 line, they have a comic line that's called Justice League Dark, and it's all of the arcane characters that come together as like a supernatural Justice League. It's Constantine, the Spectre, Sandman. If the Constantine show does very well, maybe you can see some infusion of that in his television series.
I have been waiting for the Sandman to become a series. I love that comic series. It's one of my favorites. It turned me into a hardcore comic fan, and if they could turn that into
it
a
is
series,
pretty special. I have to admit, it is awesome. Oh, and another member of Justice League Dark, which I love, Swamp Thing, is also a member of Justice League Dark. Yeah. So maybe we can see some infusion in that with those characters. Here's another one that's actually being developed for Fox. I don't know how this is going to work, but the show is called Gotham PD.
Oh, no.
And it's a prequel show before Bruce Wayne even becomes Batman, and it focuses around Jim Gordon as a regular beat detective. And it takes place in Gotham City. Now, before you say, "Oh no," the comic book series that it's based on is highly acclaimed. They say it's awesome.
Really?
They say it's very good.
Is it like beat detectives dealing with supervillains?
I'm not really familiar with the comic series, but from what my understanding is that it deals with some of the Batman villains when they're in their infancy. And that's the name of the comic is Gotham
They
PD.
should look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. very, very closely.
Agreed.
And say, we're going to do the opposite of this.
Oh, I agree.
Because what you described to me is basically Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah, I mean, we always go back to it, and I think it's become pretty apparent that we don't like the show. But I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s weakest problem is that, I mean, I want to see more of the expansion of their own universe. I mean, now they're talking about with Sweep Weeks coming up. I don't know if it's going to be the episode this week coming or it's going to be
this week.
It's either this week or it's going to be the week after. The episode is going to deal with the fallout from the new Thor movie. So now, are any of the Thor actors going to be in the show? Of course not.
Well,
so,
the problem I have with that is like you gotta give it at least 2 or 3 weeks.
yeah, to give people a chance.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie yet. It just came out. I haven't seen it yet. So, and maybe I'll see it today. Maybe I'll see it next week. But if I have a show to watch on Thursday or Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever show the day it comes on, I'm probably going to skip it because I don't want a spoiler.
Right.
So,
Right. Well, I mean, and of course, the other one that I forgot from Warner also is there's going to be a development of The Flash,
yeah.
which that is going to spin off from the Arrow series because Barry Allen, the character, has already appeared on that show, and they're talking about launching The Flash. I know you hate his costume, John, but I love
awesome.
I love The Flash. He's an awesome character.
Yeah.
We'll see. Actually, the X-Files did a really cool episode where they had a character that was Flash-like, could move
I remember that.
super fast, and like his
Yep.
bones fractured and stuff. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, if they could take that sort of angle on it in terms of reconciling with the law of physics, and that would be cool. Like I said, that costume is ludicrous.
The only thing that scares me about the Flash series, doing it on television, is I'm a big fan of Mark Waid's version of the character, which he expanded it to where the Flash could actually kind of like interdimensionally travel by moving so fast.
Makes sense.
And I'm kind of worried that television doesn't have the budget to pull off something cool like that.
You don't have to have sliders.
Yeah, but Sliders, every example of Sliders, it was like they went to like our world with like a slightly different skew to it.
They did it though.
Yeah, well, they did it, sure, but it's they did with what they could. So
We'll see.
But also another big piece of news on television, which I don't know if I agree with or not. Robert Orci right now is talking to the Paramount Network about doing a relaunch of a new Star Trek television series. Yeah.
Aye.
It's going to take place in the same universe as their J.J. Abrams reboot, but it's going to be a different crew.
It's just a whole other crew altogether.
It'll be a different crew that's existing within that timeline. And if you think about it, you might not be able to get a guy like Chris Pine, but Zachary Quinto, he's all over television.
Sure.
So if you wanted to do a little guest appearance by Spock, you can drop in a character like that.
As much as I was like, I don't know. They've how many spawns of that show have they had so far?
Well, Star Trek, the television series, started losing its luster after Deep Space Nine. They launched Voyager, and then they launched that prequel show, Enterprise, and they just never had the impact. They never had the impact that the other shows had. It just wore out its
New
welcome.
Generation stuff.
Next Generation is fantastic.
Generation, whatever.
Oh, the Next Generation was great. That was a great television series.
This might happen.
Might be the next
That's
generation.
what I'm saying. I can't really crap on it, the idea, until it comes out.
Oh, yeah, I won't crap on it. I just don't know how I feel about it because
either.
I remember it was only a short time. Hell, that Enterprise show maybe only came on maybe about 10 years ago.
That was Sam
And-
Bakula, right?
Yeah. Scott Bakula
Bakula.
was Captain
Sam.
Archer, who is
Sam from
Quantum
Leap.
Leap. From Quantum Leap. He's actually referenced in the Star Trek reboot, the one with Chris Pine.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed
The
first
reference
or second film.
The reference in the Star Trek reboot is when they run into Scotty for the first time. He's talking about why he was punished by being put on that backwater world. He actually was experimenting with a transporter, and he teleported Captain Archer's dog, which was the Beagle from the show. And he went to use the transporter on the Beagle, and they never found the Beagle. The Beagle disappeared and was gone. So Scotty was punished by being stuck.
That's awesome. I never watched Enterprise. I literally, I am not kidding you, I could not get past the theme of the show. It was some really bad,
it was like some bad
country rock.
70s.
Oh, it's so bad.
It was like an old 70s song that they...
I literally couldn't get through the theme. I went, this is going to be terrible.
Yeah, it was like it was that old song "Faith of the Heart,"
Right.
I like the only song, in my opinion, when it comes to theme songs for Star Trek, the only vocals that you should have in that song is
Agreed.
I'm cool with that.
Agreed.
But yeah, no other lyrics besides those. So.
Exactly. Or the angry Klingon chorus. Oh.
Yeah.
And there's a fight.
You remember that show Alien Nation? based on
Yes.
the movie, and they did the television show.
Yes.
A picture back to the theme of that song. It was like the alien chants. I could see that a Klingon-based show with all the grunts and farting
Right.
and swilling beer in the background, beating the piss out of one another.
The Klingon choir of Sector 9.
Yes, indeed. To move on, also, we'll talk about some of the new movies, some reboots, and some other things that are going to be happening in terms of sequels. There's now talk of a new Terminator trilogy. They said what they're going to do is they're going to back up and place this trilogy in between Terminator 2 and Terminator 3. They've had actresses. I think the girl who plays the Dragonborn girl on Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yeah, Khaleesi. She's going to be she's kind of in the lead run to be cast as Sarah
I
Connor.
think she'll get it.
Look, before we just go on a big tangent with Terminator, look, I just think it's a bad idea. Look, Terminator 1, Terminator 2, look, be happy.
I don't know
just
if
be
Mick
happy.
G's, is Mick G doing this movie?
I mean, look.
For your sake, John, maybe not.
No, I would not watch it if McGee were involved.
Yeah, I mean, so look, you had Terminator 3. It was abysmal. It was a cash grab. I mean, look, the movie made money. It made money. It had a huge marketing campaign. It did well. Arnie was still young enough to where he could pull off the T-800.
Right.
I mean, I'm happy with Terminator 1 and 2. I don't need a revisitation of that franchise. I really don't. I mean, if you want to go back in time and relaunch a franchise and give me some colonial marine shit from Aliens, I'm all about that. But, I mean...
Here's what I will say about that, is that the guy who directed Thor Dark World, he also directed, I think, the Red Wedding episode of Game of Thrones.
Continue.
He did a great job. And because I think the Terminator franchise is so overdone and ruined, I'm okay with someone at least rolling the dice. And if I hear that it sucks, I won't watch it. But if it's good, I'll give it a shot. That's
Sure.
what I'm saying. The jury's out, but I'm not going to write it off totally. Scott, go ahead.
I didn't want you to spoil the Red Wedding for me.
I'm not going to.
All right. Very.
I'm the
would
only
never
guy
do
that
that.
spoils anything around
all right.
here.
All right.
Exactly.
That's my job. John won't take my job from me. So.
Exactly.
Speaking of sequels, now we move on to Ghostbusters 3. Ghostbusters 3 has been
mythical.
It's been in development hell for probably about the last 10 or 15 years. And it appears they finally have a script that they've settled on. They had an announcement on the Cleveland News that it's actually going to shoot in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And the two leads that are discussed, and they're actually in talks, from what my understanding, signed to a contract.
Right.
It's going to be Jonah Hill and Emma Stone, who
Stone.
played in The
Hermione.
Amazing Spider-Man.
No, Emma
and she was
Stone.
also in Zombieland.
Oh,
Not
whoops, sorry.
Hermione.
Yeah, Emma Stone played in Zombieland, and she was the female lead in The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield.
She's
Have you seen stills from The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Yeah, I've seen some.
Have you seen the one with Spider-Man with the fire hat on?
No.
Yeah.
all right.
It
Spider-Man
looks
3.
Terrible.
Wow.
Yeah. He's got a fire hat on and a fire hose. And considering that Electro is the...
maybe it's like maybe it's a Rocky 2 thing or Rocky 3 thing where he has to do promos now because he's a big star and he has to do commercials. Rocky 2, right?
I hope so.
No, Rocky 3. I don't know.
I think when Spider-Man comes out, he needs to have James Brown doing Living in America.
Right.
I think
There
that'd
you
just be spectacular. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, they're talking about Emma Stone and Jonah Hill, and they say the script indicates that they are going to play the children of some of the main characters from the original 2 films.
Right.
And they said that Bill Murray has no interest as appearing as Peter Venkman, and they're going to move on without him.
That's good.
So,
Oh, I see. I read an interview with him in which he said that he was not interested until he went to South by Southwest and was hanging out with some kids that were like, "You got to do it." So he said he'd be amenable to making a cameo. That's what I heard.
the only sequel that Bill Murray is into doing is Garfield. Other than that, he hates sequels. But I guess he loved playing Garfield so much that he found it necessary to
He
do
doesn't have to do any of these. He doesn't have to anymore.
No.
Bill Murray is great as he is.
Oh, yeah, he's awesome. And I mean, look, I got a lot of respect for him. I
So
mean,
do
as
I.
far as he doesn't want to do sequels to films. I mean, from what my understanding was, what turned him off to doing sequels was Ghostbusters 2,
Understandably.
which was nowhere as good as the original.
No,
was
and he
awful.
doesn't take the big cash cow movies. He does.
No, he likes his little he likes doing his little indie films. I mean, Lost in Translation and Rushmore and What was the other one he did where he was the Life Aquatic?
Yeah.
I mean, he likes doing his little personal films like that. And I got a lot of respect for that. The Royal Tenenbaums, I
All the
think he
Wes
was in that.
Anderson.
All the Wes Anderson stuff, Jim
Yeah.
Jarmusch. Maybe they should get Jim Jarmusch to direct Ghostbusters 3.
Maybe he'll do it then.
So there it is. I don't know. We'll just kind of see where it stands. You know,
Right.
I mean, as far as who's going to appear in the movie and what it's going to revolve around. I mean, I think the biggest problem is that you're going to try to make these characters the children of the main characters, and there was no love interest in the movie except Dana Barrett and Peter Venkman.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
Ghostbusters. We're just happy to see it come out.
Unless Emma Stone is really, really hilarious. I mean, I think they
She's
should.
really, really
I
hilarious.
love her.
She's really, really hilarious.
Is she?
Yes.
In what?
In every movie she's in.
I
except for
love her.
Spider-Man.
Okay.
She's like Drew Barrymore. She's just so goddamn likable.
Yeah, but
you know?
Sarah
I mean,
Silverman would be funnier.
Yeah, but I mean,
She'd make a great
yeah, but she's
Ghostbuster.
like cynic. You know, I mean, she's a real cynic, comedian. And I mean, I think Ghostbusters, they need to go with something fun. Think Emma Stone. She's like Drew Barrymore. She's just likable. I mean, I could watch a shitty Drew Barrymore movie and I'll sit there and say this is crap, but she's so goddamn likable. I like her. I think she's a great little actress. So.
That explains your Ever After poster. Got it.
Well played, sir. So, on that note, we will now leave you. You can visit us at www.popcornpissandvinegar to listen to this episode and our previous episodes. You can also visit us on Twitter at PPVGuys and the same on Facebook. Join in the conversation. We love to hear from you. We are out.
Later.
Peace.
End scene.